All right, what I'm looking at right now, let's just go over from like a higher time frame perspective, what I'm looking at and why I'm not in the shorts yet. Because let me actually just mute this for myself here. Okay, so I really like the shorts today because we are. If I go to the 15-minute chart and I'm trading on the micro E mini S&P, I also trade. It depends. I might trade the micro. I might trade just the regular minis. But we've been in a short-term downtrend this week, as well as on the higher time frames for we've been rejecting the 6100 level very cleanly, and we're under the start of year VWAP. So in red is the start of year VWAP, which is anchored from January 1st. This is like my moving support and resistance line, showing me who's in control for the day, the week, the month. And you could see once we broke through it, we retested it very simply and then continued lower. So we're maybe finding a bottom. However, I think today these lows could be taken, definitely could be taken. VIX is up 10% right now, giving me a high quality short bias. But the reason I'm not in the shorts yet is is important. So if we go to Nvidia looks bullish, and we know Nvidia is a large weight of the S&P and the Nasdaq. If we go to Microsoft is bullish. Google's bullish. Amazon's more bullish than bearish. Apple's bullish. Tesla's kind of bullish actually. And then Meta's bullish, but it it looks like we're not bullish because everything's red, but in reality we're bullish because all the stocks are recovering this gap. That's not to say that this gap is actually going to hold, but like we're not going to probably fill this gap. If we go to Edgeful, let's just get a quick stat here. So the gap is 1.32%. And if we go to Edgeful gap fill and report by size, because you can on Edgeful here, you can do all sorts of different reports. You could do gap fill by size, and ours was here in this category. So we had a gap down that is 100% not filled in the last 6 months. And then let's go to the last 5 years. And what's up, Sam? What's up in the live chat? And what's up, Manny? How are you doing this morning? Yeah, this camera is just a $30 camera from Amazon. So yeah, by size, in the last 5 years, this is actually filled 30% of the time. So, that's not bad. But I want to be in alignment with all the VWAPs when I'm taking my entries. And this is just going right into the VWAP. So the ones I have on here is start of week, because you can see it was really held nicely and then rejected really cleanly. On this day when it was rejected here, I decided I'm going to leave this VWAP on for the rest of the week because it seems to be significant. However, the start of week VWAP is not what I normally use. And then we can see again how it was used as support and resistance on Wednesday, and then even into the overnight. As soon as we slice through, we haven't recovered that. So green is previous day VWAP, and again, this is the 15-minute chart on electronic trading hours. Now, so with that being said, that's why I don't want to get in a short or a long right now, even though I did see the longs very clearly. This was just this on Nvidia. And let's look at NQ here. Yeah, NQ looks very similar. NQ looks more bearish than ES. So I think there were a lot of people that might have been induced to this short here. Me personally, I was one of those people that was looking to short this because I was like getting ready to start stream, but I also had my finger on the trigger. I was wanting to get this New York VWAP price with a stop at the high of day. This was the trade idea, and I would have been risking $1,000 to do this on the weekly to the weekly lows, but that would have been a loss. So I'm glad I used the whole market to help dictate my entries, because if we go to the heat map, that's fucking ugly. Like, everybody's going to be short in this. But the other thing you have to consider is that when we opened, we were down 1.8% at the lows, or like 1.7%. Let's see exactly from where we closed to where so we were down 1.6% at the lows. And like an average red day, let's see if they have a report for this, because the average red day that I notice is about 1.5%. So if we're already opening down 1.6%, that's telling me that we need to have some rebalance, especially with this being the overnight move, just a straight drop. I don't even know if that was on news or not, because if we go to financial Jews, there wasn't really any news. It's important to note that the Eurozone is cutting their interest rates before the US is, because our GDP numbers were really bad. The Atlanta GDP just got re, re it was at 6%, and then it was supposed to be positive 3, and then it just flipped to negative 2.9. So that was really bad news for the GDP numbers. And I was listening to some guy who was talking about it was because of gold. But let's see, like an average red day. I don't know if they have something like that, but green and red day streaks. No, green and red days by weekday. High and low by weekday. I don't know if they have the exact report I'm looking for, but the nice thing about Edgeful is you can always hit them up and let them know. But no, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find a report that's exactly what I want. However, my point was still made clear that we were down 1.6%, but we have to recover that. So now we're down 90% or 0.9%. So that's a much more, you know, reasonable number to then continue going short. And now I could see us ending the day down 1.8% at these weekly lows. And I'm just going to throw my Edgeful link if anybody wants to sign up as well. So yeah, right now it's kind of a no trade zone for me. Like, this move already happened. So if you took the inverse of my trade idea, which was I like the shorts but couldn't justify the shorts, you would expect, because the stocks, the idea would be trading 2 previous day VWAP. This would have been a very nice entry if someone was willing to buy this low. Um, I do say willing to buy this low because as we've seen when we're sliding, we're just sliding. We're not getting like high quality pullbacks. And I've really been noticing a very similar pattern at the open since the start. Like, this is just a straight down drop, and then this is right at the open, continue straight down, right at the open, straight down, right at the open. Or this is actually a little bit after the open. This might be a day like today. If we can learn from the past, if this is the market open right here, 6:30. So this is market open and we're bullish, but then this is that start of year VWAP that I was showing you guys at the start of stream. We find some resistance and then continue lower. So I could see a day like this playing out very cleanly today. And what I've been noticing is like the pattern recognition is really, really important right now, because if we let's go to the 2-minute chart, and we'll turn on the initial balance so we can look at that, because this was really interesting. I just always do this with white, and we'll go 15 days back. So if we look at, what the hell? Oh, there it goes. Okay. If we look at some of these red days here, I'll start with it back up here, because it starts back up here. So we have, okay, this is the first one. We have a sell-off at the open, and then we consolidate, and let's just check the charts. All right, they're not doing nothing. So S- Sell off at the open. We hold initial balance low. Let's zoom in. We hold initial balance low and don't break it. Then we consolidate. And then the sell off eventually continues. We'll just put this on regular trading hours. That'll make it easier. So then here's another day. 2 days later, we sell off at the open. We don't break initial balance low. And then once we break it, we continue lower. Here's another day where we don't break initial balance low and continue higher. And then here's today. So my point with that is the sell-offs don't always look exactly the same, but they do rhyme. I heard that on Twitter. Like, they do rhyme. The patterns are very similar. So from the day I just showed you, that would be lining up with what might happen today. We're bullish at the open because we gap down, and the stocks, naturally people want to buy at the lows. If something is 10% off, 20% off. Right now, I believe Nvidia is like almost 30% off its highs, which you have to think about the funds, because the funds are definitely going to be loading up, and they might just be, we're down 40% from its highs right now. So there are firms that are seeing that as a 40% discount, which I'm sure there are people taking up that offer. So anybody in the chat, are you guys in any trades yet? And if you are, send some markups, or let me know what are you trading and what assets you would want me to look at. So like, this trade idea is buying because we are stocks. With bullish price action. That's the key. Just because the heat map is red and the VIX is up, it doesn't mean it's just a sell market. So buying at the daily with targets at previous day VWAP. And you can see that's a clean trade. When I scalp ES, I'm normally looking for 10, 15 points max. So if you're able to rip 24 points off that, and I would be taking my profit here personally. This slow looks like we're due for a pullback. So I'm just going to say, like, this trade, if I was marking this up, it would be done there. And I'm just going to put, whenever I take my markups, screenshots for my DRC, I always do this. I just copy the link and then go to TradeZella and just put it in my markup section, and then say, like, this is the ES long at the open. This is something I do every day, these DRCs, and it's just I just have templates here in TradeZella. I have like my pre-market routine, which is getting all my levels on the chart, doing some stretching, some yoga, that kind of stuff to really get the blood flowing in my body. Then I always review the previous day report card, and I go to the charts and look at the levels. And then I just sign an agreement with myself, like saying, I just write it down on paper and say, I'm going to trade with the long-term plan in mind today. Because I find when you sign something to yourself, it reinforces in your brain that this is the right decision to be making. And I went to a conference where this like mind alchemist guy, Sam Dagash, talked about it, and I've been doing it and been having good results on the discipline side of trading. So no news today. If we go to Forex Factory, we have NFP tomorrow. So today, again, very interesting. If we look at the 15-minute chart, today could be very choppy, because now we're in this range since Monday. So Monday we sold off, and then since Monday we've just been in this range, and we're slightly making higher lows on the bottom technically, but I don't really think it's higher lows like it's going to be bullish. I just think it's finding a little range before making its next move. And honestly, that next move could be tomorrow at NFP. So we might be in for kind of a slower day today, but the volatility is definitely there. If we go, this is another report I like to use from Edgeful. If we just look at the volume, you just use the regular volume. again, and this kind of backs up what I was saying before about, buyers being in control more than sellers. But we had 102K volume at the open, which means there is more volume than normal, and I'll show you the report on how to find that. So if you go to Edgeful, they have different types of reports. If you go to volume and then you go to session volume by weekday, you can see, nope, not by weekday, market volume indicator. Yeah, so we have an average volume of 82K in the first 15 minutes. So here we had 102K, which means we're going to have more volatility than usual. That's going to tell me that maybe instead of going with a 10-point stop, I'm going to need a 15-point stop, or something like that. So I see, Lance, you're flat. What makes you want to be flat right now? Same thing as me, maybe just looks a little indecisive, hard to buy here when the whole market's selling off. And yeah, I too, NQ is not my cup of tea. I've traded NQ a few times. I'll actually show you guys. I've traded NQ a few times this year, and it's been all losses for me, actually. As you can see, NQ, I've just been losing on NQ. So I don't trade on NQ. I've been trading ES only executing on ES for the last I don't know, since January of 2024. So, quite a bit of time now. And I understand the ES price action really well. Well, there's also the final. So that would be the final take profit on this long trade would be 2 previous day VWAP, which also is middle of the range. So middle of the range, it could reject here, it could continue higher. We have gap fill and midnight price 50 points above us. So that would be, honestly, that would be pretty crazy if we just did a V-shaped reversal at the open and continued higher. I don't like that. This is a tough market for me personally to trade, because I would want to be short from here, but there's just nothing that's telling me I can be short right now with my strategy. Looking at Nvidia, yeah, and see, like, Nvidia is just bullish. Like, I can't short this. Nobody's shorting this. If this closes, so what I would be looking to get short is to see the price action go like this, and then I'd be looking to capture this move with the swing low VWAP there. But yeah, going back to just what I was saying about NQ, like, even though they are so similar, in price action and whatnot, the swings and the wicks and like the levels are just not the same. So I whenever I go over there, it's normally like when I'm like starting to get a little bit out of the pocket and I'm just looking for a trade that might be either an easy win or, I don't know, something. I'm just looking for whatever, like if ES already made its move and then NQ is lagging behind, I would enter on NQ, but then not really know where to put my stop and then mismanage the trade. So I've just stopped all trading of NQ pretty much, but it does seem like an interesting asset to trade, because at least with with the S&P 500, you've got 500 companies, but with NASDAQ, you've only got 100. So damn, look at this. Let's see. NASDAQ is bleeding today. See this, and this is why I think unless if the market has a huge recovery today, shorts are still going to be in play. It's just, you just want to get the entry timing right, because now this looks like a really nice retest of the this is the overnight VWAP from the start of the future session. So we'll let this play around. It could spend time up here for an hour, 40 minutes, 2 hours, like any amount of time. But once it starts to turn back under, then that would give me a good indication that maybe it's time for the shorts to start playing out. Yeah, especially when you just look at this heat map, like, how are you buying with this? Because it's not just like things are red, but we are down. Things are down either 1%, 4%, 3%. Some of these big market caps, I guess Apple, Microsoft, Google, they're maybe holding them up by staying flat. But again, we still have Nvidia. So Yeah, I don't know. This is just a tough area for me to this is like what I call no man's land because the move has already happened. Like if you're just buying here, like I guess that there could be a trade idea where you buy right now and then you would put a stop at this pin low, like maybe this pin here. This seems like that could be a potential area for a stop. Or if you wanted 57.91, yeah, you could put a stop right here at the bottom of this 15-minute candle low. That's something I've been experimenting with is like when we get momentum and there's a really small wick or no wick on the 15-minute candle that's printing, that's a trade idea to just take it and then put the stop at the bottom of that candle. And then you're saying, if this candle flips bearish, I don't want it anymore. Um, so yeah, this would be the trade idea. I'd have a stop at the bottom of these wicks, and I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably just be looking for 1R because that's about all I could justify, or kind of just up in space right now with no real levels or anything like in mind. Like, yeah, see. But yeah, let me know like how long have you guys been trading, and how'd you find me? Because I know, so I stream on ASFX TV with Austin, my mentor, every once in a while, actually every Wednesday. But I also yeah, kind of do my own stuff. That's the fire department behind me. I live right next to the fire station, so there's a it's in Los Angeles too, so there's lots of fire trucks and stuff going on behind me. But I'm actually moving next month, or at the end of this month, so I'm very excited. I'm going up at the end of, or at the start of next week, to take a look at places and, hopefully find something that suits us. So yeah, let's see. And then, are you guys tuning in from YouTube or Twitter? Actually, that's another question. But yeah, this is just kind of no man's land for me. Let's see. You guys can hear the music all right and everything. Let's see what's NVIDIA doing. I don't know what this VWAP is, but okay. Yeah, this is just bullish. Hard to sell this, but also hard to buy it, And if we look at NQ, let's see NQ. Yeah, NQ, let's see where their previous day VWAP is, because it's important to, like, with the amount of weight that both of these indexes have that are so similar, it's definitely like you always want to trade the price action of the asset you're actually executing on. But if you don't look at the other important correlated assets, then you're missing out on something, because like there's a lot of times where, let's say, price made a pattern like this and it's slowly downtrending, and then the VWAP is sloping in like this on NQ. So if you can imagine that, then on ES, imagine it just like stays up here and then starts to break higher, but the New York VWAP, it never touches it. And then if NVIDIA is also doing the same thing as NQ, the way I would play that is ES is the lagging asset, and ES probably wants to touch its New York VWAP before it moves higher. So then that would give me some confirmation to just wait out the longs. But so now you can see why I wouldn't want to buy this high. And then this is another interesting thing. So on ES, we rejected previous day's VWAP perfectly right there, but on MES, we broke above it for a bit. So that's where you want to be using both the assets, like, because ES has more volume, I think, technically, because the contracts are just bigger size that they're being executed on. But also, I guess you shouldn't like not look at MES because of it. Let's see, that's just ASFX TV. Let's see what Austin caught. He caught some longs. No, I don't think he caught any longs, but Yeah, he didn't. There's no executions on there, so I don't think he actually traded that. But yeah, like you can see this trade idea. This is not panning out. Again, we're just a little overextended. And Nvidia's coming back down. I think it's going to be a big teller of what's going to happen at this New York VWAP here. So the next trade idea I'm thinking about here is if I sold it, you're playing the double break trade because the double break of opening range hasn't been happening that much. So if you guys are on Edgeful, you would be familiar with this. The double break trade of the opening range right now in the last 6 months, it's only 54% of the time. But if we go, let's see, 5 years. 5 years is 60%, and then let's see, 1 month. 1 month is 45%. So that's telling me that this actually isn't a high probability trade. But I don't really care about Edgeful right now because it is a high probability trade because we're trading with the 15-minute trend. It's just about entry timing that's going to be key. So the next trade idea would be something like this. When it breaks New York VWAP, like I would want it to see it just kind of break and like hold under it, like something like that if the line's here. And then I would be looking to capture this move. But as you can see, the bulls are still definitely in control with this candle. I love trading on the 1 minute because you really get to see the momentum of the buyers and the sellers. On the 15-minute, you just see the wicks and the candle closers. But on the 1 minute, you see that this is the buyers in control, trying to take control. If we turn on this volume indicator, we can definitely see majority of the time buyers have been in control today. So yeah, the trade idea would be this, but then it's like, I don't want a 30-point stop. I trade my best with like a 10-point stop or sometimes a 15-point stop, especially for the size I like to risk. Right now, I'm trading a Tradeify account. I'm up 1.3K right now. I started this account this week. So the goal is to take a payout by the end of the month. I need 10 trading days and I need to make 9K. So I have 3 trading days and I'm up 1.3K. The commissions are pretty brutal on Tradeify, if you ask me. Like when I go to my like daily journal, like yesterday I had like I paid $230 in commissions yesterday. Like that was, I did not expect to pay that much in commissions. But right now, this is okay. So this would be the next long idea because this is in play. This trade is 100% in play right now. Not again. I want to be in alignment with the VWAPs, so I'm really only looking for shorts today. And if I miss out on the, okay, let me rephrase that. If the initial balance gets broken, which the initial balance, oh wow, okay, that's perfect. The initial balance is going to be set right now. Okay, this is actually a great, this is great that we're streaming this. So the initial balance is getting set in literally about 15 seconds, number of days back. I don't want it to show all these days past. So if this gets broken in the next minute, now my whole bias changes for the day because using the initial balance report, we know that we on average break one side. Let's see. So 1 month, in the past 1 month, it's only been 65% of the time. But if we go to the last 6 months, it's been 75% of the time. So basically, if this gets taken, we have a 75% chance that we're going to close on this, close bullish today, actually, and not break this side of the range. So nice, Lance. I see you. Okay, cool. I see you're long. What's your entry price? Because I like this long entry. This would be my entry with a stop at 87.75, and then I would just be looking to trade 1R. Yeah, found you through Austin Evans Twitter's. Nice. Been trading for almost 2 years, unprofitable. So tell me, who are you trading with? Are you just trading with the firm, and that's why you say unprofitable? Or because I feel like profitable and unprofitable is like, it's not very clear what that means right now in this industry. To me, if you're net positive on your trading prop firm expenses, I consider you a profitable trader. Other people might consider you a profitable trader once you're paying for your house or whatever your mortgage is. Um, Personally, I don't even include education costs in that. I think whether you if you wanted to become a doctor, you're gonna have to pay for education too. A long MES 802. Yeah, okay, so just about the idea I got marked up and stop was at 788. Nice. Okay, that's exactly the trade idea I have. And what'd you use for your entry signal? Because what I would use is this high of day VWAP as well as this whole or this would be a swing high VWAP and the hold of previous day VWAP. Like this trade looks very nice considering we're wicking underneath, we're holding it right now. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia, let's see from its high of day VWAP right there. NQ as well is looking good. Yeah, as well as looking good. This if this high can hold, absolutely. We are selling off a little bit, but it could always do something like this and then continue higher. You just never know with these markets. So overall, I think it's a good entry. And yeah, let's see if we can get an initial balance break. That would be really cool. Because I always it's like I don't I it's like I don't I've seen this happen so many times and see like this candle, if we can close above it, I like that a lot for this trade. Yep, I like that. That's a very nice candle in my opinion. Um, yes, EMAs and use the Hekinashi candles. So I saw my pattern on those candles and above the EMA. Nice. The Hekinashi candles, if I'm even saying that right. How I don't even know if I pay for those. Oh, interesting. So what's the difference? Interesting. This is very cool. Hekinashi candles. Interesting. I'll have to figure out how to read this. It looks like, does it use volume? Is that what this is? Is this like a volume type candle? Very cool. Um, but yeah, like something I've been noticing is like the initial balance will be set at like 722, 728, and then we'll get this pullback, and then basically the trade is anticipating the break of the initial balance. And that's been a trade that has worked for me very well multiple times, both long and short. But yeah, just a little high for me. And coming off of yesterday, I I got caught buying. I'll show you guys my trade from yesterday because it was a good lesson for me to, just again, just stay patient and let the stop loss be its own thing because I took a lot of L's like on this one trade idea because I was just pulling early, like not seeing all the way through. I had just made breakfast and missed this trade. I literally was like cooking eggs and then I see this trade present. I'm like, damn, this it just didn't I just didn't like it enough. Didn't click the button, saw it rip, and then we got this nice pullback, and that was kind of telling me like, okay, this thing's ready to go. So I get in, and then we just chop like this, and you can see it looks very similar to today where we just chop like this, and that's would tell me that this idea wants to work. It's holding the VWAPs that are important to me, and I ended up like closed it, got back in, closed it again, and then finally using that same idea I said about the 15-minute candle, it was this candle right here where this so I was like took two longs in this candle, took two L's, waited this candle out, and then got back in as soon as this candle started printing bullish, and then I just put the stop at the lows, and that was actually that ended up being a really really nice trade yesterday, ending plus 1200 on my Tradeify account. I can only make 1800 a day with the 20% consistency rule. So if I make 1200, 1300, I'm very happy with that. It was like supposed to be 14.5, but the commissions just ate into that. So there's another firm on the way that I'm going to be working with in the near future that I'm very excited to be doing some stuff with. However, they are still under development. So we're working in the background on that. But yeah, again, this trade looking good. Nvidia is bullish, so that's giving me confidence in this long. NQ is not quite as bullish just because we're not holding above this high of day VWAP, but really, I think that's all right. So let's see what Lance said. It's just an average price of the last two candles just makes it easier to see the price movement. The definition of HA candles, if you want to know. Interesting. That was so interesting. I didn't think I could actually see these, the Hekinashi candles. Let's just see here. The average of the open, high, low, close for the current period averaging. So this actually sounds just like a VWAP because the average price or pivot for the open, high, lows, close divided by 4. Very interesting because I love VWAP so much because if like let's go to this one. The VWAP is just the open, high, lows, close divided by 4. And it's like the only, oh, okay, so we got the initial balance break. Boom. The long is in play 100%. And now we know with 75% chance we want to close bullish on the day. So now for me, I hope we get to take something on stream here. Um, I would definitely be looking for a pullback to the 80s, to the mid 80s, and then I would be taking a hive day candle break. Um, what's your target, Lance? Because this is a nice trade. I think you could definitely, this thing's just pushing. You could probably get 15 in a swift move here. That would be my targets on this trade, given the stop, and yeah, hopefully we'll find something else. Yeah, initial balance break. Let's see what the stocks are doing here, because that's always a good teller. It's always a good teller. Yeah, super bullish stocks. So okay, so we were down. Microsoft was down. Let's see. Yeah, Microsoft was down 2%. Yeah, 200 EMA at 58.13. That's my TPL. Leave two runners for anything else. Yeah, I like that. I like that trade management. Yeah, Microsoft was down 2%. It's recovered. Nvidia was down, I think, 4%. 4% and it recovered. Yeah, 5.12%. Google was down. Yeah, everything was down and recovering. So, again, so now going back to what we spoke about earlier with this range that we're in, if we look at it from a range perspective, you're just buying it at the bottom with a stop at the lows. Like, there are people who trade consolidation patterns where maybe like this was the entry, and now you're just trading from bottom of range to middle of range. Again, prices trade in ranges. Monday, like this looks like just a clear range to me. Here we go. We got 12, 13's coming. So that's very nice trade, Lance. Very nice trade. Yeah, boom. There you go. There you go. Got your 13. Yeah, and now we're above the regular trading hours, or the overnight trading hours, and the previous day VWAP. Boom. So this TP would have been hit as well. So this trade idea is, yeah, it's just a slow mover till it goes, but nothing here was telling you to get out. So, yeah, nice trade. Yeah, you barely even taking a drawdown on that. Since yesterday. Yeah, and I came into this. So let's see my game plan for today. I see both sides, but mainly shorts at the open. We got stocks opening down a few percent. We got everything from the overnight to keep going lower. Maybe something I could have noted better in my pre-market plan is like, yes, while we are down, that doesn't mean we can't recover, because it's like I saw why the shorts were not in play so clearly, but that didn't make me open to the long side. So that's a good note. Let's see. There's this trader David Capablanca that I've met a few times, and had the pleasure of trading live with, as well as been to some of his events. And he is a short only stock trader. No, Manny, I didn't take that long. He's a short only small cap penny stock trader. And he's been shorting stocks for 7 years now, and he has like a very strict set of rules. Also, VIX is up 5% now, so it still actually tells me that the shorts might be in play today. Sorry to go back and forth, but like as I see this still tells me the shorts might be in play. It's tough because I don't want to fade the initial balance stat, but I also don't want to fade the 15-minute chart. So, there's always I find there's a move at the open. Like this was the first leg at the open, and then this was the second leg at the open. I would be hesitant to say there'll be a third leg without some kind of deeper pullback and rebalancing. But basically, that rebalancing is where the later date trend really emerges. So with this VIX still being high, because VIX up means stocks down, um, just because it's the volatility index, and I don't know more than that. But VIX up, stocks down; VIX down, stocks up. So if this thing was going to rip, I would expect to see this either flat or in the negative, actually. So I'm just going to keep monitoring this and see when the pullback comes, and it's maybe ends up being like a midday trade or like an afternoon trade, where then you're really capitalizing on the 15-minute trend. Because I mean, this still just looks bearish to me, especially if you go to like, okay, the 1 hour. Maybe we just had our first 1 hour closure. Yeah, we did have a good 1 hour closure bullish. Interesting. Yeah, David. So he only short stocks, and he just decided that he has such a strict criteria for shorting that if the stock fits the opposite side of that criteria, then he'll take it long. And that's kind of like the same thing that I could have applied today, but always a lot of could haves, and I try and this is interesting. There's divergence now between Nvidia and ES and NQ. Interesting. Maybe that's just because all these other stocks are so bullish. There's divergence. Yeah, I always look for divergence, and just want to know if just want to be like in tune with the whole market. VIX is slowly rising. We might get a pullback here. Anybody who's got runners, this might be a good place to take them. I don't know. Yeah, or do we really want to go get the gap fill in the midnight price? Let's see what the midnight price is. That must be like super not probable. I don't trade anything ICTA, but I guess the midnight price is an ICT term. Was Lance the only one that hit that long in the chat? Where it was like 1.5% from open, 1.3. Let's go by size. If you ever use Edgeful, it's always the best to use it by size. By size is the best way to get the most accurate. Yes, literally that's never happened in the last 6 months and last 5 years. 24%. So I don't know. Could happen. Could definitely happen. Nice. Manny took that long. Manny was on stream. Yep, took the long. Very nice. But yeah, as we come to the end of the stream soon here, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna end up taking anything, because kind of how I said this was no man's land. Once we got the pullback, and then the buying pressure, that was when I was like, okay, this next trade entry is definitely in play. Held previous day VWAP. And then also just review my other trade from yesterday, because I think this was actually a really good trade too. So actually, we'll look at it on the charts like this. So this was the open, right? Super choppy. And the 15-minute chart, look at that. That's just like so ugly. So I stayed totally flat during this whole chart, this whole mess, as I would call this. And this was the initial bounce low. So as soon as we broke out of initial bounce low, that was when I was like, boom, now I'm ready to take some shorts. So what I did was apply that same logic I was saying about the 15-minute chart. And this was the candle that broke out of initial bounce low. And so I put my stop right there above that candle, and then using the low of day VWAP, I got into the trade. I wanted to get into the trade here, but that's technically not a break. And then as this candle kind of like glitched lower, I clicked in to sell, and I just put my stop right here, which was just literally just right at the top of that candle, and ended up getting, I took the candle on this one. Yeah, I got out right here. So yeah, this was the trade. I ended up getting out right here. And as you can see, the original trade thesis was to trade to weekly lows. But when we kept getting pullbacks to initial balance and wasn't just sliding lower, that was telling me maybe the bulls do have it in them today to, hold the bottom of the range. So this is like a little like scalping strategy that I've definitely been looking at, is using, like, this is a range. We get the breakout of the range. You don't take the exact breakout, but on the next 15-minute candle, if there's a small wick and it starts to push away from it, then that's your entry with a stop at the top of that wick. It's like, my idea is that it's like a 2 or a 3R trade potentially, because you only have to risk a small amount and then you can trade all the way through that next 15-minute candle as a 15-minute scalp. Yeah, let's see what percentage of recovery was that? So yeah, so a little over a percent. The magic 618 number, I think, is where it went to today. I don't know Fibonacci that well, but I do use Fibonacci as previous day midpoint and a high point. So we'll take yesterday, and this is how I would use it. So this is the midpoint of yesterday. So there's indecision to me right now. We are at a very pivotal point in today's trading price action. Do we want to hold previous day's midpoint? Do we want to hold previous day VWAP and today's VWAP and continue higher to the start of week VWAP? Excuse me, as well as the highs from yesterday, especially because yesterday was an inside bar day. Damn, today is also an inside bar day. That's so interesting, because an inside bar day is when the high and the low is not taken out of the prior day. So this is the high and low from Tuesday. Wednesday, we stayed inside that range. And then now Wednesday's low got held and Wednesday's high got held. So we're really coiling up. We're coiling up and we're in the middle of the coil. So that's why I say it's just a critical part of where we are right now. And not that previous day midpoint actually has like a lot of weight on it as a key level, but from a bias perspective, if you're above the New York VWAP and you're above previous day midpoint, that's probably a good teller that you should just be long or flat, unless you have a mean reversion strategy, which I do not. I do not trade mean reversion. I just trade with trend. And so if we look at NVIDIA as we get our next pullback, this is kind of the time where, so that was pinned the high of day. This is where we're going to get a third trade opportunity, and it's probably going to be in about 15 minutes, and it'll be either buying off the New York or selling the New York back to the initial bounce low and the opening range low. Yeah, now that we're down, so we basically recovered 1%. We recovered 1% during that pullback, because even though this looks like it's trending, that was actually just a pullback to this 15-minute move. And this could be another good buy play. Some people like to trade the initial balance, and the initial balance is just the first 1 hour of market open. It serves as a key level. As you can see, this is kind of where resistance can turn into support. But VIX is also up 7% now. Something that I struggle with is, like, you can always find a reason to stay out of the trade. So I stayed out of this one because it was just a little too high for me, and I just wasn't even really ready to be long today. I was more prepared to be short, so that's difficult because I came in with a bias on the day and that didn't serve me. Something I told myself a while ago is, like, maybe it's best to come in, if I'm going to trade the US markets, it's better to be either long biased or flat, but then also, or like long biased or don't bring a bias at all and just trade the VWAP. Because, like, if I'm day trading on the 1 minute chart, how much weight do I put to, like, the start of week VWAP or the start of year VWAP? Like, the VWAP that I should put the most weight on is the New York VWAP, because that's telling me during my session who's in control and what's doing what. And yeah, Nvidia's continuing to hold up. Yeah, everything looks good. Let's see YM. Yeah, damn, YM2 is just ripping. NQ. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it with that. I unfortunately we didn't find any trades today, but I will definitely be back on doing streams like this more often. If you guys want to trade with me live on Wednesdays and Mondays, I'm on ASFX TV. That's where I trade with my coach. You can use the code Thomas for 50% off, and that should get you 50% off your first month. Come join us. You also get access to the courses that teach a strategy I trade as well. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your trading session and was able to take some value from the stream, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.